Good evening, everybody, and welcome again to another episode of the Warren Files. Can I start with an off-color joke?
Go ahead.
How about happy holidays, everyone? Merry Christmas, cheery Saturnalia, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa. We're here to celebrate the holidays with you this evening. And now, Jeff, you can go ahead and
I would say this
change
is
the
PG.
entire mood of this.
I would say this is PG-13, and don't take this as I'm talking to you guys. So, did you know Santa originally started out saying hi, hi, hi until he met your mom? That was horrible. That's definitely a junior high yo mama joke.
There you go.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's awful.
It wasn't that bad. Trust me, I have worse.
It was a good dad joke.
Yeah, that definitely was a dad joke. Yep.
Yes, for sure. It's probably a page that I saw it on was a Facebook page dedicated to dad jokes. So everybody, we have Layla on with us tonight. You were on last episode too, correct?
Yes, I was.
Yep. And then we have Chris again on with us, and tonight we're going to talk about some of the we'll talk about Christmas, but then there's a lot of people that celebrate a lot of other stuff other than Christmas this time of year. So we're going to go over some of the Wicca stuff, some pagan stuff, maybe a little bit about Krampus. And Chris has a couple stories too, Christmas egregore or something. You want to start with that or save that one for later?
Let's save that for a little bit later. I mean, one of the nice things about my life is I've gotten to celebrate Christmas in a lot of different countries and seen all of their different traditions. And that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Last year, for instance, I was in Colombia. And on December 8th, everyone goes out and they light candles. And it's a real community experience. You're giving thanks and you're lighting candles, and they're everywhere, all over the city of Bogota. It was so beautiful. And they do that down here in Peru as well. Mm-hmm. But now Layla's got something for us.
Yes, I have a couple of things, and it's more of the Latin American Hispanic thing. One of the first things I have is Christmas Eve. So the Latin Americans, we celebrate Christmas Eve more than we do Christmas. So yes, we do the Christmas presents, that kind of stuff. And usually if you have a big family, you party late into the night. So Christmas Day is more of a day of rest. So that's just one of the things. And then another thing we celebrate is the Three Kings Day. And that's celebrated on January 6th. And here's two interesting things to me as well. So when we have nativity scenes, that's another big Latin American thing, that we have nativity scenes in our homes. But the baby Jesus is not put in the nativity scene until Christmas Eve. And then the three wise men, or the three kings, are not put in until January 6th, because that's when they appear. So that's just a little tradition. And so the Three Kings Day is, like I said, it's the 12th day after we celebrate Christmas. And that's the day that the three wise men, the three kings, showed up to bring their presents to Jesus. So that's when they also, a lot of the Latin American countries celebrate the Christmas presents. And
I know in Spain they do that too.
Yeah, it's huge in Spain. It's a really big deal. They have parades, they have all sorts of stuff. And it's funny how it's similar though, because one of the things they do is the kids leave out shoes in exchange for getting presents, which sounds weird, right? But if you think about it, we have our stockings. And that's a sock. Yeah, we leave that out, and they put gifts and candy and that. So they leave out the shoes. And then instead of the milk and cookies for Santa, they leave out grass and water for the camels that the three wise men and the three kings are riding on. And they also have a king's cake that they celebrate with. It's similar to the Mardi Gras. Yes, it's very good. And it's round. It's kind of in the shape of a crown, and it's like similar to the Mardi Gras. They put a baby Jesus in it, and if you get the cake with the baby Jesus in it, then you're supposed to have good luck and prosperity for the year. So it's just a neat, different tradition that they have.
That's actually one I've never heard of that before. The whole Three Kings thing. I've never.
Yeah, and so most people will take down their decorations after Christmas. We leave the decorations up till after January 6th, and then that's when we take everything down.
I leave mine up till like February or March. But
Well, you could do that too, July, whatever.
We're out of laziness. I'm going to bring. We've got another guy that's joined us, Jack from the UK,
Okay.
and we're going to bring him in. He's got some stuff to add to our conversation tonight, so let's bring in Jack. Jack, how you doing?
Hey, yeah, I'm good. You?
It's like 1 a.m. there.
I was literally in bed, and then Chris messaged me and was like, "When did you jump on?" So I was like, oh, "Okay, cool."
Well, thank you for joining us.
Last minute.
Merry Christmas, Jack.
Cool. Well,
Yeah,
thanks for
Merry
joining.
Christmas.
So,
So Jack's, he's in the UK. He's got some traditions he would love to share with us as well. And a little bit later, I'll be sharing a lot of my grandparents' stories and how they celebrated Christmas. It was something.
That's awesome. That's pretty much all. So Jack, we were just talking about Three Kings Day that's celebrated a lot in the Latin American countries. So we had just gone over that right now.
Yeah, I was thinking that's probably where the 12 days of Christmas comes from, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is. The 12th day for us is on January 6th.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, but like Chris said, different countries celebrate it different. Spain, it's a huge deal. They have parades. They have all sorts of stuff. So it's a big deal.
Yeah, that's cool. Jack, what do you guys do over in the UK for Christmas, or maybe even non-Christmas? Is there any other I don't know if it's there, but here we have Kwanzaa and obviously the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah and all that stuff. But is there any that are UK specific?
I don't know really. I think
Boxing
I
Day.
think a lot of what we do is similar to what guys in the US do. It's kind of I have a family tradition with my family. Where on the 1st of December, we take my little boy to go and see Father Christmas. He goes on a train and then sees reindeer, and then there's Father Christmas, gives him a gift and all that kind of stuff. And then we kind of just plan things all month long. Like tonight, for example, we went to this light display show, this Christmas themed thing. That was quite cool. We just try to kind of just plan something for every week in December. And then on Christmas Eve, we stay up late, we open one present each. And then we wake up early on Christmas and go at it, have presents. And then we have Christmas dinner, all the family come over and it's hectic because the kids are noisy. And yeah, it's kind of quite similar to I would compare it to Thanksgiving a lot from what I've seen from my friends in America. It's kind of just hectic and lots of food and just crazy.
Why don't you explain where Boxing Day comes from? What that's all about? Because the people in the United States wouldn't have really understood that one.
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself. I was told, I don't know how true this is, they actually originates from many years ago where people would settle their differences before coming into the new year. And it was just the day where you would kind of hash out any problems you've got with people. And so that when the new year comes, you've got a fresh start. And there used to be a lot of boxing events all over the place. And I don't know how true that is. That's what I was told in school. I went to a Catholic school. And that's what they told me Boxing Day was about. So I couldn't tell you. I'm sure that there's probably a religious thing to it. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, actually, what I've heard is that people would go to the manor house the day after Christmas, and the rich families would box up all of their leftovers to give them to the poor on the second day. So that was the day that they would celebrate and have something extra themselves.
Yeah, that makes more sense. I honestly, I don't know. It's not something we've ever discussed. We kind of just do it.
Yeah, that's funny. That's what a lot of our traditions are. We celebrate Christmas Eve. We just do.
Yeah, it's on Boxing Day. For what we do is we'll have the leftovers from Christmas Day, the cold meats, do a cold meat platter, and we'll just kind of play with all the toys with the kids and things like that. We just kind of relax. Yeah, I mean that's all we've ever done. So honestly, I have no idea.
That sounds. It's actually interesting, though. I mean, both versions of that, the meaning of that day makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
a way to bring in the new year by actually, hey, I got an issue with you, so let's duke it out. You know, I mean,
I kind of like
makes
that.
sense. Yeah,
It's like a low key version of the purge.
yeah.
Call you
Yeah.
The purge with gloves.
out.
12 rounds with Mike Tyson on Boxing Day.
And you only usually last like 2 or 3 with him, so
I wouldn't last 2 or 3 seconds with him.
I mean, either. I jump out of the ring.
You know, 3 years ago, I spent Christmas in Portugal. I have to say, honestly, it was the best Christmas Eve I've ever had in my life. I mean, it was amazing. My friend, his mother must have taken days to prepare this meal. And one of the things that she made was salted codfish. It's called bacalhau. And my favorite thing to eat in the entire world is steamed lobster with butter, which, you know, I haven't had in years because who can afford it? But this was even better. And she came out, I had just had my bariatric surgery. And I couldn't eat anything. And she was coming out, the piles of pastries and goodies that were out before the meal even started. And then there was roast beef and lamb and different fish dishes and this bacalhau, which she soaked for a day. She cooked slowly for hours on end. It just melted in your mouth. It was like nothing you could ever imagine. It was so delicious.
I can
Honestly.
kind of weigh in there because my little brother, his girlfriend's Portuguese, and he's having Christmas Eve with them. And he told us that their tradition is Christmas happens on Christmas Eve and not Christmas
Yes.
Day, which I find quite interesting. But yeah, I mean, everything you just said about the food is kind of what he's told me that he's looking forward to and stuff. So
Oh, absolutely. It's amazing. And then last year I was in Colombia. I couldn't believe everything was open on Christmas Day. All the stores were open.
Oh, really?
People were working. It didn't seem to mean a lot to them. It was Christmas Eve that was the big holiday. So what Layla said earlier, exactly.
Well, don't give us any ideas here in the U.S. about opening stores on Christmas Day because they've already
Oh,
taken
I know.
Thanksgiving away from us. They
That's true.
shut down for that, but
That'd be
now
riots.
Thanksgiving Day is they're open. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, now everybody opens on Thanksgiving. It's awful. It used to
Yeah.
be, at least it was 5 a.m. on Friday morning. Now
Yeah.
it's all day Christmas, Thanksgiving. It's awful.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, and even the
But,
Black Friday here is, it's not what it used to be because so many people go online that, you don't drive by the stores and see the lines. I mean, there's some lines, but
Yeah.
they're all done at like 8 or 9 in the morning.
it's kind of turned into Cyber Monday now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind
It's
of
like
leave it on
Cyber Week.
Monday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I like.
And you know,
better.
the funny thing is, everywhere I go in the world has Black Friday now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
That's crazy.
I know. They don't even have Thanksgiving and they're celebrating Black Friday. It's
We're
terrible.
like, hey, we can make that money.
yeah,
Exactly. I mean, it's in Spain, it's in Portugal, it's in Peru. Everywhere. I
Yeah.
just couldn't get over that.
Yep.
But I spent a Christmas in the Sinai Desert in Egypt, and then when we got to Cairo, the Coptic Christians weren't celebrating Christmas until January, so that was pretty cool. We got 2 Christmases that year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so Kristen's chiming in saying her uncle said that Boxing Day in England is the day after Christmas, a day to exchange gifts with friends and family that you didn't get to see. So
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we do. To be fair, I mean Boxing Day is like, well, we're going to see Nan and Granddad on Boxing Day because we didn't see them on Christmas Day, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
that's cool.
No, but there are plenty of people get upset about other people saying happy holidays. Why don't they say Merry Christmas? Well, it's because the reality is in December, it's the end of the year. It's traditionally many different holidays. There's over 20 different holidays in December.
Yeah.
So happy holidays is actually a nicer thing to say because you don't know if the person you're talking to is a pagan or Jewish
Jewish.
or celebrating Kwanzaa or what have you.
Yeah.
You know, so it's very nice to be able to just say happy holidays. I hope you're enjoying your holidays.
Yeah, I agree.
I used to, I'll be honest with you, I used to kind of get upset by that. But over the last few years, it does make more sense to me. And, I'm not afraid to say Merry Christmas, but it's, I do say Happy Holidays a lot more than I used to because it's, you're right. There's, you've got Jewish people and pagans and everybody's celebrating everything. So,
Yeah.
It's not offensive to me to say Happy Holidays. I know some people get offended by it, but that's weird.
Down here in South America, you got a very good chance of being able to get away with saying Merry Christmas almost all of the time.
Yeah.
But the odd thing is they don't say Merry Christmas until Christmas Eve. Feliz Navidad, no, not right now. It's just no. Wait until Christmas.
Yeah. And then that's Buena Noche too, the good night.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I would love to share some of my memories of my grandparents and how they celebrated. Actually, even before I get into that, my stepfather is Italian, and so we celebrate in a very Italian way on Christmas Eve with tons of seafood. That's a very Italian way of, I think it's called the Feast of Seven Fishes or something like that. And we just go to town with tons of different seafood. But my grandmother, oh my goodness. Honestly, I think she started shopping for Christmas the day after Christmas and spent the entire year buying gifts for us. And she would come in with armloads of gifts for each of us. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And every year, there were certain food items that she would always cook for us. Always had to have pumpkin pie for me. And she always made, everybody knows what dates are, right? They grow on palm trees,
Yep.
Well, she would take those, she would stuff them with peanut butter and then roll them in coconut. Oh my God, I love them. She would make those just for me every single year, And my grandmother tried so hard to keep that man healthy. But he loved crackling, which is a very, very British thing. That crust of fat on the roast.
Yeah.
Every single year, he would just rip that right off the roast, and that was his.
I mean, if you do it right, then you can't beat it.
It is amazing if it's done right.
Oh yeah,
100% artery hardener.
We have we have a
It's
dish that's called nacatamales. They're like tamales, but they're bigger. So that's a big that we would eat on Christmas Eve.
And what are they?
They're nacatamales. So instead of tamales, they're nacatamales. So they're kind of the same concept, but they put different stuff in them. They put more chicken, more vegetables, potatoes, and that. They just put more stuff than just the meat that the regular, and they're bigger than the regular tamales. So that's what we eat on Christmas Eve. Nothing all elaborate like the Italians with the seafood.
Which country would you say that's from?
That's from my mom's side of the and she's from Honduras.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Great. Yeah, I'm learning. My fiance is from Venezuela, so
Okay.
we're starting to prepare now. With we're going to be making a pasta salad that's very Venezuelan for Christmas, and all sorts of goodies. But I'll also make things that my grandmother would make.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
We save the other stuff for Christmas Day, like the pot roast or the ham or whatever we're going to do, the traditional food that we eat here.
Ooh, lasagna for Christmas Eve. That sounds really good. My godmother, my aunt used to do that.
Yeah,
And,
that is good.
That's so good.
Yep. I've got a hell of a great lasagna recipe that we don't make it at Christmas. We do. I have a great recipe for lasagna. That's fantastic. I judge all of those lasagnas by mine.
So are you inviting us over for Christmas Eve?
What's that?
Are you inviting us all over for Christmas Eve?
No,
Lasagna?
because I don't cook Christmas Eve because we go to Dana's family's house and they're
All right.
Polish. So for there we eat pierogies like crazy. They make the best pierogies on the planet, and I could care less about the turkey and the ham and all that stuff. Like I'm there for the pierogies and kielbasa. But
we're definitely going to have a turkey this year. I'm looking forward to that.
I mean, on Christmas Eve over here, I say over here, I think just my family, but we get takeout. Like we will order some sort of takeout food because we can't be bothered to cook because we've got so much cooking to do tomorrow. We just can't be bothered with it. Kind of lazy, but
Hey, that makes sense.
You know, I do have an interesting ghost story to share with you for Christmas. Now, we've talked about egregores in the past. Now, an egregore is a thought form. It's a spirit created by us. It is not a separate entity on its own. It comes from our human energy and then takes on a life of its own through our power. And this young man in Costa Rica reached out to me, and he had this story to share with me. He shared this with me on Monday, and I'm just going to read it verbatim. The story that I lived, it's about Christmas. I was so happy as a child, and I believed in Santa Claus. It sounds silly, but when I came back to my house, I watched from the window a real Santa Claus with glasses, a red suit, and I saw all the details of his face. And when my dad opened the door, he simply disappeared in the air immediately. I believed in this story because I was so young and I really wanted to see this character. I think it was an egregore because all the kids wanted to watch Santa Claus and I was the lucky one. I think it was very strange, and I relate this with the collective thought and egregores. So this is a young man who's been chatting with me for several months now. He's got a lot of questions, and so I take a little time and talk to him about the things that his questions, and he shared this one with me. And I always thought, why wouldn't there be a Santa Claus egregore?
Definitely an interesting thought for sure.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, people can manifest all kinds of other things. Why not something good like that?
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
But I do actually have one Christmas ghost story, a real one. 2 years ago, I was in Scotland, and we had an online virtual Christmas party for the members of the foundation. We're going to be having another one this Saturday, as a matter of fact.
Yep. And
while I was there with another medium who was sitting next to me, all of a sudden, the hairs on my on my arms, just rose up like goosebumps. And I was like, my grandparents are here. And the medium next to me looked at me. I hadn't said a word. And she said, "Yeah, Chris, they're here. Your grandmother just said, Christopher, we're here." And my grandmother was the only one that called me Christopher. So my grandparents showed up for a Christmas party for us.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think I've heard you tell that too. Wasn't Ken involved with that story somehow? Father Ken?
Oh, he was online with us probably. I don't remember for sure, but I think he was.
Okay, because I for some reason I was thinking that he was tied into that story somehow because I've heard, like I said, I've heard you tell that before, and I didn't know if he was a part of it. Do you guys mind if I invite Nikki Ray?
No, of course not.
Okay.
I mean, please do.
Yeah.
So Nikki, I'm going to send you an invite. So go ahead and share with us. If you can't stay on the whole time or whatever, that's fine. But you can share a Christmas story with us or tradition or something like that. So
yeah, and for everyone else that's watching tonight, this is only going to be an hour-long program.
yeah, we're going to do a short one.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I love Christmas, and I do, we don't want to keep you away from your families.
Yes.
Oh, I do have another Christmas story, which I think is really adorable. I'm renting a place with my fiance here in Lima, and the landlord has these two little girls. One is 6 years old and one is 10. And the 6-year-old saw my fiance and decided that she was an elf. and that I was Santa Claus. So she comes in, she checks on us almost every single day. She's like, "Hi."
Oh.
She's so excited. And we've been invited to come for Christmas Eve. So, of course, I can't stay long because I've got to do my rounds.
Yeah.
But I will be there earlier in the evening.
I'm
And
surprised.
then,
Surprised their parents aren't slipping you like a 20 and saying, "Hey, we
I
can
know.
use your power for the naughty nice list. Can you help us out?"
Look, they're
I-
right next door.
I already got her a gift. We're set. I've got to get one for her sister, though. We're going to get her some nice clothing. But yeah, we got a Barbie doll for her, and we're going to get a jewelry kit so she can make her own jewelry. Santa Claus has got to come through,
Right? And can I just say that I'm so glad that my kids were older when the Elf on the Shelf became popular? I don't think I could do it.
Yeah,
These people are elaborate.
I would definitely have issues with my Elf on the Shelf would be adult themed, and I would definitely post.
Yeah, all crazy stuff
that
happening.
elf is going to be a crazy elf.
I think I had one for 1 year. My daughter, it was like right when she was about to, right around that age, and my Elf on the Shelf never moved. I said he was scared of the dogs. The dogs would eat him if he moved.
Good-
And nothing
good-
like I see, some people get elaborate with their.
Oh my God! Yes. Yep.
That little elf on a shelf thing. My mother had one of those elves.
Oh,
When I
really?
was growing up, we had like 3 or 4 of them, look identical to the ones that everybody uses now.
Oh, that's
And we would just have them all around the house. But we never played that particular game. It didn't
Yeah.
exist back then. We're going back 50 some odd years now. I'm an old man.
I'm not allowed to do Elf on the Shelf.
Why not?
I probably shouldn't say why on live, but I'm sure you can kind of guess. So I'm banned from doing that.
Was the elf into
He was a bit naughty.
strippers?
a bit naughty, yes.
It was like
Yeah.
Jeff was thinking.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my elf would be like. I think I'm going to get one next year though.
Angie Johns is saying that New Zealand has a Santa hotline that you can call so you can talk to him and so forth. NORAD every single year also tracks Santa's position around the world. When I did it with my son, we could see video images of Santa flying all around the world.
That's cool.
I don't recall the name of the website, but if you Google Santa NORAD,
Yeah.
you'll be able to track him as well.
Yeah,
And
so
I
we
think
do
it's a
that.
Great thing to share with your kids.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's really cool. Like I'm a plane enthusiast. I love military planes and stuff, and I go to air shows and stuff. So I have that app called Flight Radar 24 where I can track what's flying over me and I can see everything. And on that app, it actually tracks Santa over Christmas as well, so you can see it through the app on your phone if you're down. It's a free app and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you've got kids, download Flight Radar 24, and over Christmas you'll be able to track Santa.
Isn't there a TV one too that you can put it on your TV?
I think it's
Yes.
the same one. They keep it at
Yeah.
the bottom. But I think it's still NORAD.
All right.
My
We're gonna
dad
bring-
actually was in the Air Force, or he retired from the Air Force, and he worked in Cheyenne Mountain where NORAD originates. So that's kind of cool too.
Well,
We're
that's
gonna-
very cool.
We're going to bring in Nicole Gaspard here too. That's the one that we invited. So I'm going to bring her in, and we can hear a holiday story from her for some of her traditions. So, Nicole, how you doing tonight? Last minute.
Hi, good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. So, do you have a holiday tradition or anything like that to share with us, or?
Just basically regular Christian tradition. We try to meet every year and give gifts and just glad we have each other.
What about the food? What kind of food are we doing at your house? Because I'm all about the food. Like,
Yeah, because we had turkey for a late turkey dinner, but we had turkey and then we're gonna have ham, possibly ham. I have a feeling. I like turkey better, but yeah, I'll eat it.
Yeah, we always had a Christmas ham as well.
yeah,
I love that.
I
like
love
that.
sweet.
We do the Polish thing and that kielbasa. Have you guys ever had really, really good kielbasa?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God, you can't beat it. You cannot beat it. It's
So, Jeff,
good.
you have to tell us. I don't know what that is. So, will you explain what that is?
It's similar to like an Italian sausage.
Okay.
type meat,
But higher fat content.
Yes, but very, very different.
Makes it better.
We have I come from a Polish neighborhood, and so we have like this little store that they have, made their living for years selling kielbasa. It is,
Oh, that's cool.
God, it's so good.
My mother had a tradition as well. She told us, I'm not going to say she believed, but every Christmas Eve, she would say that the animals would be able to speak at midnight. So that was something we would go out, try to listen to the horses in the paddock. Like, oh, are they going to talk tonight? We're going to hear them? But I also remember when I was like 10 years old, 11, 12, 13, 14, my grandmother would take my sister and I to midnight mass every single year. Now, my grandfather, no. That man, I don't think the only time he ever went into a church was for an exorcism or a funeral. Otherwise, he didn't enter a church. But my grandmother, yeah. And we would always go to see Father Bill Charbonneau. Just this wonderful, wonderful young man. Great priest. Really loved him. He actually had a run-in with Annabelle, which I've mentioned several times.
Oh, wow.
He challenged Annabelle, and then as he was driving home in his brand new car, Annabelle came out of the sky in a bright light and ran him off the road. The car was ripped in half and his leg was broken.
Yeah, I've heard you tell that. As soon as you said that name, I'm like, I know that he's tied to one of the.
That sounds pretty intense.
Yeah.
Well,
He shouldn't have thrown Annabelle across the room and said that God was stronger than the devil. He challenged it.
Actually, if you think about it, Annabelle is kind of the original elf on the shelf because she moves around a lot, but when everybody sees her, she's sitting still. So
There you go.
Yeah.
Annabelle sold.
I think you could effectively scare the kids more with Annabelle than Elf on the Shelf.
exactly. Yeah, it's a good thing that wasn't out when I had little kids, for sure. So who else has Layla, you looked up some stuff, correct?
Yes. So I always, I was raised Catholic and Christian, but I always like to study other religions. So one of the things I'm studying right now is Wiccan, and so they celebrate Yule. They don't celebrate Christmas. It's also the 12 days of Yule, and it starts on winter solstice. And one of their traditions is they have a Yule log, and it's usually made out of oak, and they will put it on fire, and if it lasts, their tradition is, I'm sorry, my dog is over here moving the table. If the log burns throughout the night, then that is supposed to be good luck and prosperity for the year. And then they will also get the ashes from the log after they burned it, and they will put it in a pouch and they will hang it on their hearth, and that's just supposed to be good luck for the rest of the year. But another thing that I learned also is a lot of our traditions are steeped in pagan traditions.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Including
they're-
Easter traditions.
Yeah, a lot of like the mistletoe that's based on a pagan tradition. The caroling, the farmers would go out into the fields and they would actually sing to the spirits to try to keep the spirits away so they could have good fertility and prosperity throughout the year. So I think that's interesting to me as well.
I think it's interesting. I mean, I'm not a religious man, but if I would put myself in a religion, it would probably class myself as Wiccan. Because I think even unintentionally, a lot of people do practice a lot of Wiccan sort of ceremonies and things like that, and they don't even know that they're doing it. So I think it kind of just touches everybody's life a little bit.
Yeah, I've grown up in churches where like some of these fundamental Christians will not allow Christmas trees in their house, and this and that and the other thing because of all the pagan ties. And it's like,
Yeah.
Personally, I think a Christmas tree in my house, it is what you make it. You know what I mean? So what if it has pagan ties, whatever?
Yeah.
That's not what I'm putting it in for. So who cares?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But here's the real question here. Does anybody remember the Christmas pickle?
Absolutely.
What's that about?
You
There's
look
something about
your phone. Well, go. Who wants to answer that?
I don't know. We don't know. You answer.
Oh, you hide the adults hide the Christmas pickle somewhere in the tree, and the children have to find it, and the one that finds it has good luck.
Oh, I never heard of it.
That sounds kind of similar as to why I got banned from being Elf on the Shelf.
Look, you say I was just trying to follow the tradition.
Yeah,
Exactly. I was just hiding a pickle in the tree.
Yeah, who
There you
found
go.
it? That's hilarious.
I think my
Angie-
dogs would find it before the kids did.
Yeah. Oh, my dog definitely would do it. Is that a U.S. tradition? What is that?
The pickle, I think, is German. I'm not
Okay.
positive, but I think it's German.
Okay. Tammy also does the. Sorry.
Tammy does the
If
Christmas.
anybody knows, please chime in the comments.
I've
We'd love
got a bit
to
of
hear.
full brain sometimes. We
Tammy
do-
said earlier that they do the reindeer food. We used to do that too with the kids.
Yeah.
They would
Yeah.
drink, we would sprinkle it out.
Yep.
See, for what it's worth, over here on Christmas, we have like every meat you can think of. We go way overboard. We have like turkey, and then we'll have gammon, we'll have lamb, we'll have duck, and then we'll have like pigs in blankets, like sausages wrapped in bacon. We do everything that a shop would sell. We buy basically, and everyone's poor in January.
So hang on a second. What's your version of pigs in the blanket?
So it's basically a sausage wrapped in bacon, essentially.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Because ours is like it's a meat filling with wrapped in cabbage. In
Oh,
a tomato
no,
sauce.
I don't want none of that green stuff.
I've done it with phyllo dough, and that I enjoy.
But
Sounds
anything
good.
wrapped in bacon is elevated.
It's all about the food.
I've
Right.
done pigs in blankets with phyllo dough, a slice of cheese, and some bacon that's already been cooked, and that's good.
When I do them over Christmas, I'm gonna send you all a photo of them so you can see just how good they are.
That sounds delicious.
And it now makes sense why you do the delivery on Christmas Eve
Yeah.
because all the food
Yeah.
you're making.
I'm not joking. We'll spend like 8 hours on Christmas Day just cooking meats. It's
Yeah, that
crazy.
makes sense.
Well,
Well, I still don't eat much, but I'm planning on cooking a lot.
What do you
For
do,
me,
Chris?
cooking is an expression of love. You know,
Yeah.
we cook to share with others.
Yes.
You're my favorite kind of person, Chris.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do all the cooking and I'll do all the eating.
I
like to bake candy.
cooking for the holidays. I
Nicole,
love
you
it.
say you're a baker?
yeah, I like to make my grandma's traditional chocolate peanut butter balls.
Ooh, yummy.
Yeah, what's the West Indies?
I
That's
make a kitchen sink cookie. That's what I call it. Because I take a basic oatmeal cookie and then I add every single additive I can think of. I mean,
Oh, wow.
chocolate pieces, peanut butter pieces, butterscotch pieces, dried fruit, nuts, raisins, everything I can get a hold of. And then I roll it in coconut and I bake them. And oh my God, they're so good.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
So
we
are you
just,
I
doing
have a
anything
question.
different? Go ahead.
Obviously, this is my second Christmas in the foundation, but my first one I wasn't really involved much.
First
So
one.
I'm curious, do you guys, or have you ever done Secret Santa?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
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 I missed that.
We do that every year. Yep.
Cool.
Yes.
And we do one of the things that we do at our house, or Dana's family, is the rule kind of is don't buy anything. It's got to be something that you find in your house that like, a roll of toilet paper, just something stupid.
Kind of like White Elephant. We play
Yeah,
that sometimes.
white elephant. That's what I was thinking.
I used to work for an American company, and I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah.
And they introduced it, and yeah, that was very different from what we're used to.
Yeah, but sometimes we do have like people will buy stuff, and it's usually like, it's like chia pet or something.
Yes.
One of those stupid things. Like we come up with some pretty creative, stupid stuff. I got. I can't say that on the show, but I got
He said,
a
"Never mind,
very
I didn't get anything."
goofy gift one year.
Well,
Those
can
are
somebody
fun,
tell me what a white elephant is?
It's kind of the
White
same.
elephant is like Jeff is saying, you get like a really bad present.
Yeah.
And there's
A
different
cheap
ways to do it. So like
Yeah.
if there's 10 of you, you get a piece of paper 1 through 10, and you draw a piece of paper, and the first person gets it, and you pick it, so that all the presents are in a pile.
Yep.
And you get the first one gets to pick, and then I think you have so many passes too. I think
Well, you can. There's options to steal.
Yeah,
So,
you
like,
can steal. That's what it is. Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Yep. If you like what number one opened,
Yeah.
your number two, you can take their present and they open a second.
Yeah. So if you're number 10, then you can just
Yep.
choose whatever you
Yep.
want.
Yep.
Exactly.
Or if they all suck, you can grab the last present on the table.
When you're done. Yeah, sometimes
You know,
some people
I can
don't
tell
even
you,
get
I-
present.
I can tell you the origin of the white elephant.
Okay.
That was a gift that the king of Siam, the Thai king, would give someone, would be a white elephant, because that was considered a sacred animal. And it could not be made to work. You had to take care of that forever. And you got nothing in return for it. It was just all labor. So it was almost a punishment.
Well, that actually describes
Wow.
kind of like I could see where our white elephant kind of.
Yeah,
ties
that
in,
makes sense.
because it's kind of a pointless gift. It's kind of stupid. It kind of sucks. But yet everybody loves it.
My fiance's mother, my fiance who passed away, their family had a tradition that they had this incredibly ugly, old, elaborate candle. And every year somebody else would be given that candle. No one would ever light it. It kept being passed around the family.
Then they had to keep it for the whole year.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
we've
I just thought of something else that we do sometimes.
go ahead.
Sometimes we would give our gift bag to the other person, and we have to keep that gift bag the whole year, no matter how small or big it is.
Okay,
What is
so
everybody's favorite part of Christmas? I mean, what is it that you really look forward to or looked forward to as a child?
I think we have to preface that though with no food. We can't say food because
We should just go around
love
and
food.
everyone say their bit.
We'll start with let's start bottom. Jack, you're in at least on my screen.
All
You're
right.
at the bottom right, so we're gonna go.
Easy. This one's the easiest one. If you've got kids, you'll know where I'm coming from. And the best part of Christmas is not seeing their faces light up when they open their presents, but when they go to bed Christmas night and you can finally relax. That's it. That's the best part.
Yes.
As much as I love my kids, it's so hectic. I just can't wait until they're in bed and I'm like, okay, now I can do what I want.
Nikki, what's yours?
I would say I was enjoying some of the gifts and being around family.
Okay, so I've got the weirdest one probably. So for the last, actually, let's see, my oldest is 25. So I have a tradition of watching A Christmas Story on Christmas Eve, because here in the
Amen.
States they play it for 24 hours on TNT or something dumb like that. So
Yeah.
we would always come back with my family celebration, and I would watch that by myself while I wrapped up a couple last minute presents for them. So that's been every Christmas Eve I watch that after everything else is over. And I just look forward to that me time with that. That is my favorite Christmas movie.
Mine's
Layla?
Yep.
So, like I said, we always celebrated Christmas Eve, but we still did the tradition of most of the presents on Christmas Day. But we were always allowed one present on Christmas Eve. And for some reason, it just always made that one present the more special, because that was just one that we could pick.
Well, for me as a child, it was the stocking. I loved my stocking. My mom would always, get all these wonderful little things that I loved so much and jam pack them into that stocking. And it was my favorite thing. But as an adult, I have to admit, I'm the worst gift giver in the world. I can't wait to give people their gifts. So people get gifts all month long. It's like they don't get anything on Christmas because I've been giving it to them as soon as I buy them. I just can't wait. I love giving gifts.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that one. Especially my wife, she doesn't help because I'll be like, that parcel that came today, that's your Christmas present, so don't look. And she will beg me all evening, can I just look? Can you tell me what it is? Can I have it now? And it's like, are you 12? No, you're not. You're going to wait for Christmas. But I end up paying it and giving it to her.
Yep.
I never got that. I like to be surprised. I know some people wants to find the presents and all that, but
Yeah, that's the fun part.
Yeah, my wife's the same way too. She's just like Jack's wife. what is that? What is that? It's like, you know, in 1 year too, last year I did this intentionally. I'm like, you know, because I don't care if she looks at my phone, but I told her, I said, you can't look at my phone. Because me and her kids were having a conversation about, you know, her Christmas presents and stuff. And I knew that she would look at her. So she was like, oh my, it was just funny.
I'll tell you what, I hope my wife's not watching this live because I'll be sleeping on the sofa tonight.
She's looking up. My daughter's grandparents always told a funny story about when you know, they were up late celebrating Christmas Eve. They've been drinking and everything, and they went to bed, and the kids woke up, and none of the presents were out because they forgot because they'd been out drinking the night before. They were like, no, you gotta go back to bed, and we'll find the present.
Yeah, Christmas fails. So I actually have a really, I guess, I'm going to chime in for a couple minutes with a story that I did. We did this 2 years ago, and this was probably one of my most memorable adult Christmases. So we kind of adopted a family, this ghost hunting group that are friends of mine. They adopted this family, and it was somebody that we had gone and investigated their house and blah blah blah, but they were really, you know, having hard times. It was bad. The guy lost his job. You know, they weren't going to have a Christmas unless somebody intervened. So we kind of adopted that family, and the guy that normally plays Santa Claus was sick, so he had to have me do it. And I was like, dude, I'm like, you know, I'm the worst Santa ever. Like, I'm just not an extrovert. I'm not, you know, Santa's not my thing. But, you know, I put the suit on, I did the thing, and, you know, we took them over just gobs of food, gobs of presents. You know, we really blessed them. But, you know, they blessed me as well, because the little girl of the house was so, she said, Mom, that has to be the real Santa, because, you know, how else would this have happened for us? You know what I mean? I mean, man, it tore me up, because, like, we just made their Christmas. I guarantee that little girl will remember that forever. You know what I mean? And, you know, the mom was crying, and I mean, it was just a really, really cool experience. And that
sounds like a very humbling experience.
That's another cool thing about Christmas too, and other holidays, is I've done things similar to that. And like Chris, you like to give things rather than receive. And I'm kind of in that same boat. It's a blessing to give.
You know, Christmas is a bit can be a bit hit and miss with me with my job, because I know a few of you know what I do for a living, and obviously with what I do, working with children that have come through the care system and stuff. I've done shifts where I've worked Christmas Day, and, you know, they've got no family, they've got nothing. And for those 12 hours or 24 hours while I'm at work, I'm trying to just make that home as Christmassy and like exactly how I would for my kids at home.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's like the most humbling thing in the world, because the smallest gift means so much to some people, and it's incredible what you can do with hardly anything.
Yep.
You know. So yeah, when you do things like that and you just get that warm, fuzzy feeling, it's the best feeling in the world.
Absolutely true.
Very humbling.
Does somebody have their TV on, by the way?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll turn it off.
Yeah. And that's one thing too, is like, you know, those people too, like, you can give them literally, you know, a toothpaste and a toothbrush, and they truly appreciate it. You know what I mean? It's like, my kids they were so spoiled, they'd be like, what the hell is this? You know, but like, they really appreciate that stuff. Even simple, basic things that we take for granted. Like,
You're absolutely true.
You know, I run a drug court at my work, and we do, if, you know, one of the participants' birthday or whatever, we get a cake and celebrate. And 1 year, one of the people, she was something years old, she started crying and said she'd never had a birthday cake her entire life. So I mean, just little things that we take for granted. It's just amazing that, you know, just a little stuff we do. Not just at Christmas, but like Chris said, year round.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really important.
Apparently, Cujo is visiting.
Sorry, guys.
Sounds like my wife when she's got the ump with me.
Oh no.
Yeah, we call it the season of giving, but
Yeah.
for me, it's important that we keep that going all year round. You know, there's always going to be plenty of volunteers to go and give out food on Christmas Day or Thanksgiving Day.
Right.
But it's those other days that
Yeah.
they're needed as well. And if you have the ability, you know, a couple of hours of your time, even once a month,
Yep.
you know, you can do so much good for people
could.
and make them feel good about themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, to be honest, you could offer me a job, pay me £1 million a day, and I wouldn't do any other work now than what I do for a living. I've really found that thing that just I couldn't not do it anymore. Even when I retire, I'd want to do it voluntary. It's just when you just get that feeling of that, knowing you've made an impact in someone's life, nothing beats that. And I think everyone's looking for a purpose in life. And having a job where you can impact so many lives feels like a really good purpose. So you kind of just hold on to it and you just run with it. And I think everybody will reach that point in their life, even if it's a smaller example or even bigger example. But, I think it's Christmas kind of makes you think about them things.
Oh, agreed.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, we used to do Toys for Tots in one of my jobs. And that was just the greatest thing. You spend months gathering gifts for these kids. And then the parents would come one or 2 days and they would all go through the line and they would pick certain things for each child so that they could take them home and have something to give the children on Christmas Day. It's so important that they don't feel forgotten.
Yep.
One
thing I've noticed, at least in my town, is the paranormal community actually gives a lot. They do toy drives and things like that, and it's not one big national, like Toys for Tots is a national organization, a big charity, but they do their own thing, and they will get boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff, and they give it away. I mean, it's the paranormal community really is a giving bunch of people. I mean,
Yes,
there's evils and there's problems and blah blah blah, but as a whole, they definitely come through. If there's in historic society, historic sites as well.
absolutely.
If a historic site calls out for help restoring a building, paranormal people always come. Granted, they want a ghost hunt at first, but it's but
Yeah.
they do, they bring people together and give money and restore a lot of stuff.
Absolutely. And then we've got members in the foundation who are part of Ghostbusters International, and they use that as a way of doing charity work and raising money for kids' charities and going to things like orphanages for Christmas and for other holidays and just brightening these kids' lives. It's incredibly touching
Yep.
to see how these wonderful people reach out and help others, and it's just the greatest feeling in the world.
We just had a Christmas party for some orphans and underprivileged kids, I think about 2 weeks ago. And, just the look on their faces when they get something little that they get, it's just amazing. And that was one of our paranormal groups that put that together.
And it doesn't, a lot of times it doesn't take much. It's just, it's so easy to do. It doesn't cost people a lot of money to do it. You can really impact people,
Yeah. We had these little Christmas trees and they each got to decorate their tree and something that simple. They were they loved it. They were having so much fun.
That's cool. So we got time, I guess. We got about 6 minutes left. Does anyone want to say anything else before we wrap it up? Because we're gonna do a short version tonight. So
I only have one thing to say, and that's I'm down here in Peru. The country is currently in a state of emergency.
Yeah.
There's a lot of uncertainty. 9 people, as of yesterday anyway, or as of this morning, 9 people have already died in protests because they've gone through 5 presidents in the last 2 years due to corruption. Please keep Peru in your prayers. Do what you can, because it's a very uncertain time for them. And, these are good people. And they're just trying to live like everybody else. And unfortunately, their leaders are letting them down.
Common problem throughout the world, I think.
Does anybody have anything uplifting they'd like to say?
Jack,
Um,
you got a closing thought?
I could show you a kitten.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one.
If that don't make you smile, nothing
That was
will.
perfect. I just want to wish everyone happy holidays, and I just hope everyone, in their whatever tradition, whatever you celebrate, that you have a great holiday season.
Nikki, closing thoughts?
So yeah, stay with happy holidays, stay safe, and best prayers.
And I'll say the same thing all you guys have said too, but add like if you can do something for someone, do it. If you feel prompted by whatever to do something nice for somebody, just do it, because that's a lot of times you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what's going on in their head. Christmas isn't a happy time for everybody. So, and maybe you can change that just by saying hi, or if they're 20 cents short at the grocery store, throw in a buck, or, who knows? A lot of simple things like that can really change somebody's day. So.
I mean,
It really
I definitely second that. With like this time of the year is so hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I myself, when I was 18, I wasn't in a good place mentally, and I had plans that was my last Christmas. So I understand how hard it can be on a personal level for a lot of people. And anybody in the foundation that is struggling over Christmas, please do reach out. Even to me, I'm more than happy to talk to anyone, even if I don't know you. And don't be alone. Reach out. I'm sure anyone in this foundation would happily talk to most people. And we're all volunteers. We're here to help. So if you ever do need to chat, then reach out.
Absolutely. We're not here just for paranormal problems. We're here to help, period. And I would like to take a moment first to thank everybody who joins us every 2 weeks here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for spreading the message that we're here to help. We can't help people if they don't know we exist. So thank you for that. I also want to take a moment and thank all of the members of the foundation, including the 4 of you, but all of you. Everybody who contributes, everybody who comes, and those who've left. People, their lives change, they move on, and that's perfectly okay. But they've helped and they've contributed, and this is a great organization with great people, and I am so proud to be associated with you all. You give me a reason to keep going every single day. Thank you, and God bless you all. Happy holidays, cheery Saturnalia, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, happy Yule, you name it. I hope that it's a very special time for you, and I hope you're blessed with many people who love you. And if you need anything, if you need any help, we are here for you. By the way, Jack is in charge of our TikTok account. Jack has increased it up to over 600 followers already, and he's only been doing this for about a month. So check out our TikTok account, which, by the way, Jack, what is that?
It's the Warren Files.
The Warren Files, right?
Yeah.
And that's also our YouTube channel. If you ever want to see any of our videos on our cases, on how to manage your psychic abilities, on all the different aspects of the paranormal, or just to hear stories about my grandparents, they're all there. We're here for you. God bless you all, guys.
And we're also on, Patreon, blah, 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 but I really do think 2023 is going to bring a lot of education this year. I think we've done some stuff and people have really asked for education, and it's going to be a good source because, we all know there's horrible paranormal advice and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
I think we should end it on that note, unless anybody has anything else to say.
No.
All right.
Just have a good Christmas and stay
Thank
safe.
you.
Right.
Thanks everybody for joining us once again, and we may skip the 2-week show because that's right Christmas time. So
Exactly, yeah. We'll be back in a month, everyone.
all right, see y'all. Thank you.